Today we're going to take a look at GDI cleaners, or gasoline direct injection cleaners. Each one of these cleaners I have on the bench here is actually designed to remove carbon deposits from intake valves in gasoline direct injection engines. Gasoline direct injection has an inherent flaw where it tends to build up carbon on the intake valves, and each one of these products is designed to remove that buildup. So the products we're going to take a look at in this video, I have the Berryman's intake valve and combustion chamber cleaner, Lucas Deep Clean GDI STP Pro Series intake valve cleaner, CRC intake valve and turbo cleaner, SeaFoam that specifically calls out GDI on the can, and finally I have liquid Moly valve clean. Now, in addition to these products I have here, I'm also going to test these products versus brake cleaner. Do these products actually work better than regular unchlorinated or a chlorinated brake cleaner? That's what we're going to find out here, because you can buy brake cleaner, let's say between $3 and $7 for a can of brake cleaner. This can of STP, I'm not kidding, was $50. So is there any performance benefit to using a $50 can of GDI cleaner versus just spraying chlorinated brake cleaner into your engine? All right, so now in order to test each one of these products, what I did was I went out on eBay and I bought a BMW, I believe it was an N52 BMW cylinder head that was junk. It obviously had some garbage go through it. It had some bunch of chamber damage, some bent valves. But what it was great for me, was it had a bunch of GDI buildup on the valves. So I took each one of those intake valves that had the GDI buildup on them, and I pulled them out of the cylinder head, and that's what we're going to use to test on in this video. I'm going to use literal GDI buildup to test each one of these cleaners. Now, the way that I'm going to conduct my test, I'm actually going to do it two separate ways. So the first thing I did was I took each one of the cleaners and I sprayed it out into a beaker, and I timed how long it took for each one of these cans to empty. All right, so I have these 6 emptied out into the beakers. I've only got 6 beakers, so I'm going to have to do this in 2 phases. So I emptied out each one of the cans and I took a time measurement on how long it took to empty each one of the cans. So the next thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to take each one of the valves and put them on this hot plate and heat them up. Now, what I don't know really is how hot I need to heat them up. So keep this in mind when you're looking at my testing. The thing is, I understand the stem of this valve is probably going to be around 200 degrees because that's about where the temperature of the cylinder head is. I don't know how hot the face of the valve gets that's actually exposed to combustion. So I'm probably going to heat these up like 300 to 500 degrees, somewhere in that neighborhood, and just throw them in and see what we get. Now, the length of time that they are going to be in the cleaner is the amount of time it took for the can to empty. The other thing you have to realize here is this is going to be best case scenario, because I'm cleaning one valve with SeaFoam. There's about 420 milliliters of cleaner in here. I'm cleaning one valve with that, okay? Well, when you use this product on your car, you're going to use this one can on every valve in your engine. So what I'm showing you here is literally best case scenario. You will not use this much cleaner on one valve. You may, if you have a dual overhead cam V6, you may have 12 valves that you're trying to clean with this Lucas, for example, that is 350 milliliters. So cleaning one valve with 350 milliliters of product is not realistic, and this is going to be the best case scenario for each one of these cleaners. So I have one data point after the amount of time that the can will spray, and then I also have another data point that I soaked each valve for 48 hours to give you like best case scenario. If you were to spray this in an engine, let it sit for a long period of time, how much cleaning does it actually do? So I'm going to put a disclaimer on this video before we get into the results, and that disclaimer is, overall, I am not a huge fan of using these type of products in an engine. And let me take a minute to actually explain why. So let's say in a perfect world, which none of these live in a perfect world, I'm going to tell you that right now. But let's say in a perfect world, you have an intake valve that looks like this, and you're able to clean it with one of these cleaners to a point that it looks like this. My question to you is, where did all the carbon go? Think about it. So that carbon breaks off the intake valve, goes down into the chamber, bounces around inside the combustion chamber, eventually makes its way out the exhaust valve. Hopefully it doesn't get caught in the exhaust valve seat. Then it possibly goes through the turbocharger that's spinning at, let's say, between 25 and 50,000 RPM, because you have to rev the engine up to put these cleaners in to make sure the engine doesn't stall. So you have a turbo spinning at, let's say, 25,000 RPM that you're then shooting carbon at. That's not exactly the best idea in the world, but I mean, I'm not a turbo manufacturer, but I'm sure if you call them and ask their opinion, I'm sure they're going to tell you it's probably not the greatest idea on the planet. The next thing is, after it makes it through the turbo, where does it go? It's going to go into the catalytic converter. Now, the likelihood of this stuff completely plugging up a catalytic converter is pretty slim, but I'm going to call out CRC here for a second, because CRC has, I believe, like a 15 or 20 minute video on why you should use their intake valve cleaner. And one of the things that they say that could happen with dirty carboned up intake valves is the carbon could burn up the catalytic converter. Not my words, CRC's words.
The buildup can become so severe that pieces of carbon can actually break off and burn a hole in the catalytic converter.
So my question is, how is using any one of these cleaners any different than the scenario that they just explained? In my eyes, it's not. And the reason that I say that is, if you look at the bottom of the beaker that I got done doing this 48-hour soak, you can see there's a ton of carbon in the bottom of that beaker. Well, if this was the inside of an engine, that carbon's got to go out the exhaust. Is it going to damage the cat? Probably not, but they brought up the potential for it, so I'm going to call them on it. So overall, guys, yes, you can use this as a substitute to a mechanical cleaning, but if you can afford a mechanical carbon removal of your intake valves, I highly recommend you use that before you do one of these, quick and easy solutions, if you will. Just for those reasons I named. All right, so after a hot soak in the cleaner, followed by a 48-hour cold soak in each one of the cleaners, we're gonna take a look at the results here. So bringing up 8th place or dead last is going to be the Liquid Moly Valve Clean. Now, this is a fuel additive product designed for port injection, but it literally shows it being a valve cleaner on the can. So I literally took the concentrate, dumped it into a beaker, and soaked the valves, and after a hot soak and a 48-hour cold soak, I saw absolutely no difference at all from when I started versus when I ended. Even the color of the additive itself was the exact same color in the beaker after 48 hours. So how well this product is going to work diluted in, let's say, 15 gallons of gasoline, that's pretty debatable, being that the concentrate itself doesn't really clean anything. So for me, and using this to clean valves, not a good application for it, even though that's what's written on the can. So in 7th place for GDI cleaner is going to be the Berryman's intake valve and combustion chamber cleaner. This product was slightly better than the Liquid Moly. There were a few little pieces of carbon floating around in the beaker after that 48-hour cold soak, but overall the performance of this cleaner really didn't do a whole heck of a lot to this valve, even though it specifically calls out GDI cleaning on the can. A few positives that I can say about this product is it does have a mechanical retention on the actuator, so when you push it down, it locks in place. And the other thing is they give you a bunch of adapters in order to make this can work with your intake on your particular car. Other than that, the cleaner that is packaged with is really not all that great, but they do a good job of getting the cleaner that doesn't really work into your vehicle. So coming in 6th place is going to be a 50-state legal brake cleaner. The biggest pro to using brake cleaner in this application is obviously going to be the price versus some of the stuff we're going to talk about a little bit later. 50-state brake cleaner, you can get it between $3 to $5 a can, depending on where you're sourcing it from. And when you compare that to some of these products we're going to talk about in a second that are $50 a can, suddenly this becomes a good value proposition. So as far as how it cleaned, it did a slightly better job than the Berrymans or the Liquid Moly. And the only reason I was able to tell that is because after the 48-hour soak, the cleaner itself was slightly darker than when it started. But as far as looking at the valve, from the start of the test to the end of the test, it looked pretty much identical from what I could tell. The only indication that I had some sort of cleaning ability with this brake cleaner was simply the color of the fluid in the beaker after 48 hours. Now in 5th place for GDI cleaner is going to be SeaFoam. SeaFoam on their engine top cleaner and lube specifically calls out GDI on their can. So testing it as a GDI cleaner, it's marginally better than brake clean as far as the performance, but overall, when you compare it to some of the things that are coming up, it's still really not all that great. And the main reason that I was able to rank this higher than a 50-state brake cleaner was simply, again, the color of the cleaning solvent after 48 hours, which was much darker than what even the brake clean was. But taking a look at the valve itself, when you look at the valve when I started versus when I ended after 48 hours, there really isn't much visual change in the valve itself. And for that reason is why I ranked it the way I did. With that said, this is one of the cheaper dedicated GDI products that I found in the test. I think this can was around $10, depending on obviously where you source it from. So when you compare that to the STP product that we're going to talk about a little bit later, that is $50 a can, suddenly this becomes sort of like the brake cleaner. It's a good value proposition that you could potentially empty 5 cans of this into your engine. And does 5 cans of this clean better than STP? That's pretty debatable, but something to keep in the back of your mind if you're going to look at the SeaFoam product. All right, so in 4th place for GDI cleaners is going to be the Lucas. The Lucas product is going to be the first product we've talked about so far that has actually been able to get down to the face of the valve and actually clean some of the face of the valve. Everything prior to this has not really touched the carbon much at all. And at this point is when we start seeing some differentiation between this product and some of the products we talked about in the past. Overall, it's a decent product. There's better stuff out there, kind of like as you would imagine for 4th place. Price point on it, I think, is a little high for the performance, but overall, it's a decent cleaner at a decent price point, and therefore it gets a decent ranking. All right, so in 3rd place is going to be the STP. What is this? Pro Series Intake Valve Cleaner. This can is $50 retail. This was by far the most expensive product in the test. And believe it or not, it was not the best performing product in the test for $50. I think really what you're paying for here is this egg timer on the top of it. So the theory is here that you hang this underneath the hood, you set the egg timer, let the egg timer do its thing while you get in the car and start the car up. When the egg timer hits 0, it turns on the aerosol can. So you're in the car as it's dispensing the product. So it only really requires one person to dispense this. But at a $50 price point, it really didn't clean that well compared to some of the other stuff we've talked about. It was marginally better than the Lucas, but the Lucas was less than half the cost of this. So keep that in mind if you're going to shop for the STP. Really what it's saving you is having to get a friend to run the throttle while you're spraying the cleaner into the engine. All right, so for 2nd place in GDI cleaner, believe it or not, it is going to be chlorinated brake cleaner. Guys, chlorinated brake cleaner did an excellent job removing most of the carbon deposits off of this valve. Wasn't so much with the hot soak because this can only lasted, I think, around 2 minutes or so. And it just didn't give the cleaner that much time to work even on a hot valve. But if you're willing to spray this into your engine and just let it sit there for a long period of time, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't get good results using chlorinated brake cleaner. at least with the results that I got here. Unfortunately though guys, due to regulations, not everybody can get their hands on this stuff anymore. So it's gonna be one of those cases where, yes, it works great if you can get your hands on it. If you can't get your hands on it, I don't know what to tell you. The price point on this stuff, I wanna say it's probably between, let's say $4 and $7 a can. And when you compare that to the STP at 50, and this cleaned better than the STP, it really makes it a hard argument to go spend $50 on a GDI cleaner when you can do the same thing for, let's say, 7 or 8 at the high end. So guys, my overall pick for GDI cleaner is, believe it or not, going to be the CRC intake valve and turbo cleaner. I was pretty impressed by this product, and I'll be honest with you guys, I gave this product the worst valve to try and clean. And the reason that I did that is if you look at the front of the can, they really sort of insinuate that our product will take it from this down to this. So I wanted to test it on the worst possible valve that I had just to see what it would do. And it did clean better than anything else that I tested here. With that said, is it worth the cost versus chlorinated brake cleaner? That's going to be up to you. The retail on this product is, I want to say, between $15 and $20 depending on where you're buying it from. The other thing you have to remember too is I use the entire contents of this can to clean one valve. So the results that I'm showing you here with the hot soak and the 48-hour soak on one valve is by far best case scenario for this product, simply because any of these cleaners, guys, you are going to use on every single valve in your engine. When you spray it into the engine, it's going to disperse to every valve. Well, because I'm cleaning one valve, I'm going to get the absolute best possible cleaning out of this product with one application. So keep that in mind as you're looking at all of my results here. Overall, guys, it does clean reasonably well. I don't think it's the end-all be-all solution to GDI cleaning. You really need to go in and do a mechanical cleaning of the valves to get the best results possible. But as far as a product that you can spray into your engine, it seems to do an okay job. All right, so that's what I have for this video, guys. I will have links down in the description to all the different GDI cleaners that I talked about here. And as always, guys, if you guys like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content, go down and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.